Hi, fellas. I have a really fond childhood memory that has to do with the Evil Horde. I remember one Saturday morning watching the Saturday morning cartoons, really anticipating the commercials because, as a lot of you will remember, that's how we as kids got the news of upcoming new and exciting toys that were gonna someday soon show up on the toy store shelves. And I was just hoping to get a glimpse of something new and exciting, and man, oh man, did I ever. I was hit like a ton of bricks by the first ever The Evil Horde television commercial for the original Evil Horde figures. And man, it really, I remember after it had, the commercial had gone on and I had watched it, I remember just being, amazed, confused. I was really, I guess kind of confused. I guess I say confused because I remember that what was kind of odd about this commercial too, for those who aren't familiar with it, it did not have He-Man in it. It's probably the only Masters of the Universe vintage toy commercial that I can think of that doesn't have He-Man in it. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there is another one that I can think of. But anyway, they were few and far between. So anyway, here we are, looking at the Evil Horde, Mantenna, evil spy with the pop-out eyes. And then you have the caption here, eyes really pop out. And one other thing I wanted to point out about the card front, aside from it being in really immaculate condition. But one of the reasons why I rationalized opening this sample is that the glue was really letting go and it was really cracking off, and it was not going to be long before the bubble would just fall off on its own. So that's kind of how I rationalized opening this. I'm sure if that wasn't the case, I would have found another reason to open it, but what the hell, you only live once. That's my theory. We've got to open and enjoy these things while we're still here. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to point out about the packaging. This really coincides with something that I remember reading in Roger Sweet's book. He talked about in the mid-'80s, I believe it was like maybe 1985 or 1986, that Mattel had undersold the product, the Masters of the Universe figures, to all of the stores. And then in 1986, I believe it was, they had, in Roger Sweet's words, they had let the pendulum swing too far the other way, and they absolutely insanely flooded the stores. And he talked about, was it Mattel being greedy or, but you look at it this way, the stores ordered all of it on their own free will, so it was probably, it was greed on both ends. And he talks about how, like, they had a hard time selling them after a while because they were all over the place. So as you can see, look at this insane price tag. Special value, originally $2.99. I don't even remember Masters figures being $2.99, period, when I was a kid. And then now, if that isn't insane enough, now, 90 cents. Can you believe that? Man, oh man, where's my time machine? But anyway, so let's turn it around. I'm trying to keep the packaging portion of this review down to a reasonable length, and it's really hard because for me the packaging is almost as exciting as the toys themselves. Here on top, let's start with, you've got amazingly beautiful card back art. And I believe I was chatting, through comments on videos with one DTE Young, I believe his code name is here on YouTube. And I believe he mentioned that he believes Mantenna is has one of the best card back arts. And I tend to agree with him. It is definitely one of the best. And it was recently discovered or revealed by the Power and Honor Foundation that the man who drew most of these vintage card back arts, his name is Earl McCarthy. Anyway, I'm trailing off a little bit too much. Let's keep it on Mantenna. But anyway, bottom line, Earl McCarthy is his name. And you can really tell. I can really tell which ones he has done and which ones he did not do. He has a very distinct style. Let's put it that way. So anyway, let's go on to the bottom of the card here as smoothly as I possibly can. So this is equally interesting. So you've got the evil horde. I might as well read this. Long ago, Hordak was trapped in another world by his evil apprentice Skeletor. Now Hordak is back, and he's brought the evil horde with him. They're out to destroy Eternia, and they don't care who gets in the way. They're after both Skeletor and He-Man. Watch for the evil horde bat symbol on these horrible warriors. Really cool stuff. And then you've got, of course, the co-cells. You've got Hordak, ruthless leader of the evil horde. Leech, the evil master of power suction. Grizzlor, hairy henchman of the evil horde. Modulok, evil beast of 1,000 bodies. And then this is really interesting. Coming in 1985, the evil horde Fright Zone playset. Trap-filled stronghold of terror. I love that subline. That is great. Anyway, I'm really blathering on and on about the packaging here. So anyway, here you've got push lever up, make his eyes pop out, and then special spring action beast weapon. So now, without further ado, I'm going to bring out the creature himself. So here we go. Let's get him to stand nice and well. And we're going to bring this down. There we go. So now we're looking at Mantenna, the evil spy with the pop-out eyes. So I'm going to take the card back out of here so we can just focus on the toy itself. So now, and it's a really great figure. One of the reasons why, I guess, one of the things that prompted me to go on with this review is because, Mantenna is going to be the talk of the Masters of the Universe collecting community anytime now, and well, he already is, thanks to the reveal just early this year in February of the news of a new Mantenna, finally, a Masters of the Universe Classics Mantenna. So this guy here is really worth a look, and it's really going to be nice to compare the two of them together. So what I really like about Mantenna, he is very scary looking, I find. Just earlier, just putting him in front of the camera and really looking at him again after all this time. You know, I kind of have him stored away, unfortunately. I don't have room for very much vintage Masters in my display cabinet, unfortunately. But anyway, and just looking at him again, it really reminded me of how odd and scary and weird and wacky he is. You've got the double legs that are molded together as you know, like two legs on one set, if that made any sense, kind of molded in together. You've got even to the point of having the four horde bat symbols on his anklets. I really like that, and the fact that they're even painted in there, it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive for its time that Mattel actually did that. And he's completely new mold. None of his pieces were ever reutilized ever again. It's kind of mind-blowing, really, to think about back in the day. They would make these molds, and just use them once, and that was it. They were never seen again. But mind you, they made a whole ton of them. Anyway, and then you've got the side view. The side view, he's a little scrunched up looking, a little narrow to tell you the truth, but he's more of one of those figures that's more, he has a lot of girth wide. He's a little wide. He has a really big bulbous head, as you can see. Really, really freaky looking. Really freaky looking. Yeah, and yeah, that's basically him, the whole turn around. One other little thing I wanted to point out about him. As a child, I was really confused about the look of his face. I'll bring him in a little bit closer. Yeah, his mouth is really confusing. Now as an adult, I can fully understand what it is. Of course, you've got the mouth here, and all of the teeth encircling it. And then you've got the two incisors kind of downward, kind of like a spider kind of thing. But of course, he's not a spider. But anyway, yeah, I was really confused by that earlier on when I was a child. But now that I'm older, I can finally understand what it was. I remember as a kid thinking it was kind of like his nose or something. I don't know. I never really gave it that much thought. But anyway, there you have it. And his ears. His ears are made of a different material. They're slightly softer than the rest of him. His head is all one piece with his torso. It doesn't turn, unfortunately. But that's due to his action feature. So I'm going to go up just a tiny smidgen here and show you the action feature. So you pull up on the lever on his back. And let's give this a try. Yeah, I have not done this very often. I've only done it very, very, very few times on this sample because, you know, as you saw earlier, I actually bought this mint on card. And I didn't want to activate it too many times because it would create some markings on the I guess it would be these poles that kind of connect to the eyes. I'm sure after I've stopped rolling this video, I'll think of the word that I wanted to use, but anyway, there you have it. So anyway, there he is. Mantenna, eyes fully popped out. So then, accessories. He came with the standard Evil Horde crossbow that a lot of Evil Horde members, the early Evil Horde members, came with. One little interesting thing, I don't want to be too long-winded about this, but it's interesting to me that early on, the Evil Horde members, they all had this crossbow, had similar crossbows, I should say, to this. And then as the line went on, some figures in 1986, and especially Horde members, the few Horde members released in 1987, the crossbow was completely phased out, which is kind of interesting to me. So anyway, and yeah, it does have an action feature, but I hope you guys don't mind that I cannot show you that because I don't want to create any stress marks on this crossbow. I find it's really nice to have a sample of this crossbow that's never been compressed back. So anyway, but there you go. There it is with him. And yeah, and then the last thing is a mini comic that this figure included. To be honest, this is a pretty poor mini comic. As far as the figure goes, it's amazing. The figure is a 9 or a 10, but this mini comic, I gotta tell you, it's probably a 2 in my opinion. You got Mantenna and the menace of the Evil Horde. You can tell right off the bat with the artwork. It's really poorly drawn. It's really not one of the best mini comics. I do apologize if some of you were a little more curious about the mini comic, but I'm gonna have to cut the review a little short now because I'm really lacking in time. I really blathered on and on and on about the packaging. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this look at Mantenna, the Evil Horde spy with the pop-out eyes. So, take care everybody, and thanks again for watching. And I'll talk to you all again very, very soon, in the very near future.